You know what we're featuring right now? How about this? We have an amazing guest coming on to talk Knicks, and big shout out to our friends over at MSG Networks. They have Game 6 covered tonight with the pregame starting at 8:30 p.m., then game coverage at 9. So tune into MSG Networks tonight for the Hall of Fame game callers, Walt Clyde Frazier and Mike Breen. And with that, we bring in a man, a Knicks legend, and a guy who's just dialed in as a Knicks fan right now, the great John Starks. John, it's Peter and Don. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. We're now under 4 hours for this game tonight. Let's just start with the game time. How do you feel about the 9 p.m. tip? And when a weird time like that pops up, does it affect you much as a player?
Probably during the regular season, not so much during the playoffs, because you know your energy is up and you're just ready to go. You know, you just have to change a little bit of your routine and preparation before the game. But other than that, you're still like locked in. You know how big a game this is.
You know, a lot of people were reminiscing about the past and what you were able to overcome after a tough loss to the Pacers in '94, and you bounce back. So you know from personal experience what it's like to get off the mat after a difficult loss when a star, beats you and you've got to recover. So how do you think the Knicks bounce back after what was a really difficult loss in Game 5?
Yeah, that was a difficult loss. But, you have to, understand why you lost that game, and then you have to put it out your mind, and you just have to move on to the next and prepare for the next. You can't really dwell on that particular game, because if you go into this game and say, we should have won, this series should be over with, then you're not focused on the task at hand. So I'm pretty sure Coach Thibodeau got them prepared, and I'm pretty sure those guys are ready to go. Some tough-minded individuals on that team, so I'm not even too much worried about whether or not they're ready to go tonight, because I know they will be.
We've been debating the lack of use of other players by Tom Thibodeau. Is there anyone you're not seeing play right now that you think could be a major contributor that you'd like to see more minutes from on this team? Because obviously, John, at the end of regulation into OT, we saw a lot of just Jalen Ball, where it seemed like he was isolating on the right wing and didn't have a lot of options. Anyone that you think could possibly help the offensive attack in a spot like that?
Well, I think whoever you put in there, they have to step their game up at the end of the day. Jalen, obviously, is our go-to guy, and he can win games single-handedly at times. But during the playoffs, you need everybody to step up. And guys I know is going to step up tonight. I think this is going to be a big game for everyone who plays tonight. Everybody know that they have to pitch in to get the job done. Going back to Philly is no easy task. The fans is going to be fired up, especially after what we did to them in Game 4 and what our fans did after the game. So it's going to be an exciting atmosphere there. But I know that guys are ready for this, and everybody knows that they have to, lend a helping hand to get this done.
Now, I speculated because the guys that missed the foul shots at the end of the game were the guys that played the entire game. Do you think fatigue played a factor in some of the mistakes you saw in the final seconds of the game?
Not so much, because you know that you just have to close the game out. Your energy level is high. It was there. It's just, unfortunately, you got a player. And I always say, no matter who it is, once a player gets hot in this league, that basket looks like the ocean. You could shoot from anywhere on the court. And Maxey was just on fire. He hit a tough shot on Mitch to get a 4-point play out of it. And he came down and shot from the logo. Who was expecting for him to do that? You know what I mean? But he was just hot. So, like I said, you just have to learn from that loss. And, next time you're in that situation, you just have to do a little bit better.
Have you ever seen an out-of-town Knicks crowd? Let me not say that. Have you ever seen a Philly crowd with that big a Knicks presence before, where it felt practically like MSG South?
Oh, when we used to go down there, and like I said, there's a lot of New Yorkers down there, and obviously the distance between New York and Philadelphia is not that far, and it was a weekend game. And so Knicks fans, and it's the playoffs, understood that they needed our support. and they came out in full force. I don't think Philly was ready for that. I don't think Ticketmaster was ready for that. And it was just exciting to see. It was just an electric atmosphere there, having the New York fans invade Philly and bringing us home a win.
John, listen, man, we all hope they get that win tonight and advance to the next round. We get to have a conversation later with you as the playoffs go on. But thank you for making the time to talk.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Good luck.
You're welcome. Enjoy. You're welcome. Thank you. There
he is, the legend John Starks. And a quick reminder, Game 6 tonight on MSG Networks. The pregame actually starting at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. the pregame on MSG, and the tip just after 9 o'clock.
It's pretty incredible. The opening day, Knicks-Celtics. We did a remote outside Madison Square Garden. John Starks was there. Does that feel like it was this year? Like so much has happened in the 82 regular season and now 82-game regular season, and now so far in this first round. What a journey it's been. And it hasn't really even begun. Like, once you get by this, you still have 3 more rounds you hope for to try to get to a championship. It's so long and arduous, and there's so many ups and downs. That's why, maybe we'll look back as what happened in Game 5 is a blessing. Didn't happen in an elimination game. They learned from it. They're better for it. And they advance and they learn from it and are a better team because of it. That's got to be the hope. But do you realize if this team does make a significant run, even to the third round against Boston, how much is going to happen between tonight and then? There's a whole nother round before you get to Boston. And how many more storylines from that series? And it really, to win a championship between the regular season and what you've got to go through in 4 rounds of best of 7, it's incredibly
also
long.
the sexiness from just a classic Eastern Conference standpoint. If the Knicks were to go on that run, Knicks Sixers, Knicks Pacers, Knicks Celtics, it's epic. It's so cool.
Yeah, but don't count the Bucks out, though.
Well, that's what I said. If it's
right.
Because that's not as sexy to me. Like the Bucks, Knicks.
That's interesting.
No, just in terms of the legacy of the teams.
Oh, yeah, because you're talking about...
I'm thinking 90s.
How many heartbreaking losses to the Pacers? How many heartbreaking losses to the Celtics if you really want to go deep in the Knicks' history? Yeah.
So, I'm just thinking of that history and all the players we picture there. All right, guys, we have about 30-some minutes left to talk to you about the Knicks before we hit ENN. And, of course, pregame coverage here at 8:30 on 98.7 to get you ready for the game at 9 o'clock. And, guys, the playoffs have tipped off, but it's not too late to get in on all the...